Hello children, now the next topic in the same chapter, human reproduction, is the hormonal control of gestation as well as parturition. So, I am taking video 3. So, in the last class, we learnt about the different stages of development of the embryo. A quick recap of this. We know fertilization of the egg and sperm takes place in the ampulla to form a single sized cell called the zygote. This is the zygote. Then immediately it undergoes mitotic division, and this division is called cleavage, and as it is undergoing mitotic division, it moves through the isthmus, that is through the fallopian tube. So, it passes through the 2-cell stage, 4-cell stage, 8-cell stage, then 16-cell stage which is called the morula, then 32-cell stage which is called the blastula, early blastula, 64-cell stage which is called the late blastula, during which it is implanted. We have learnt what is implantation, how it is implanted, and the last stage, once it is implanted, what happens today that I am dealing with. Once it is implanted, the blastula undergoes a process called gastrulation. Gastrulation is just simply not multiplying of the blastomeres or not multiplying of the daughter cells. Instead, the blastula gets enfolded to form 3 germ layers. So, gastrulation is a process by which 3 germ layers are formed. They are ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderm. In 11th standard, we have learned triploblastic. This is with reference to this. The ectoderm gives rise to the exoskeleton, that is even the skin and the nervous system. The mesoderm gives rise to the muscles, and endoderm gives rise to the gut. So, this is what happens. So, what we have to know is the inner cell mass of the blastula gets differentiated into the gastrula, which has 3 germ layers: ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderm. Now you have to be very careful with the terms fetus and embryo. All this is referred to as embryonic stage. Zygote is a single cell stage, and after the zygote progresses, it is known as embryonic stage. It takes nearly 8 weeks. So, all these structures are referred to as embryo. But after this stage, after the gastrula stage, it is no more called the embryo, it is called the fetus. So, now let us analyze the fetus at various stages of growth going through the different months. We know our gestation period. The human gestation period is of 9 months, or we can categorize it into 3 trimesters, each trimester comprising 3 months. The first trimester, second trimester and the third trimester. So, the gestation period is of 9 months or approximately 40 weeks. Now, in the first month, the heart is formed. So, the first organ that is formed is the heart, and hence we can hear the sounds of the heart using a stethoscope in the first month. Then, in the second month, the limbs and digits are formed. In the third month, almost all the organs, vital organs, are formed. That is why the first 3 months or the first trimester is very crucial. It is during this period that the growth and development of the entire body parts of the fetus occurs. Now, moving on to the 4th month, we are stepping into the second trimester. In the 4th month, just this body weight gain and the bones become stronger. 5th month is very important, the head develop hairs. And also another important feature the mother feels is the first movement of the body, fetal movements. Then proceeding to the 6th month, the entire body is covered with fine hairs. And not only that, till the 5th month, the eyelids were tightly closed. Now, here the eyelids separates apart and eyelashes are formed. So, that is the event occurring during the 6th month. 7th and 8th, further growth and development, just gain in weight and growth and development. And in the 9th month, very crucial, the baby or the fetus changes its position, its head comes down, ready for parturition. So, once again, going through briefly on the different changes occurring during the different months of gestation. The first month, the heart is formed. In the second month, limbs and digits are formed. In the third month, almost all the organs are formed. So, the first trimester is very crucial. Then moving to the 4th month, just body weight gain and bone strength. 5th month, the hairs on the head grow and the first fetal movements. Then in the 6th month, fine body hairs on the body or sparse body hairs develop, the eyelids separates and eyelashes are developed. 7th and 8th month, further growth and development, and in 9th month the baby or the fetus changes position. It moves towards the cervix with the head down. Now, during this gestation period, the maternal blood, the mother's blood, consists of a lot of hormones in high levels. So, we can analyze which are these hormones. So, the hormones present in the mother's blood are estrogen, progestogens, cortisols, prolactins, thyroxins, HCG, HPL and relaxin. Now, I have highlighted HCG, HPL and relaxin in another color to indicate that this is produced only when a woman is pregnant, whereas the other hormones are present in all girls or females. Okay, so these are the hormones which are present in very high levels. Why are these hormones present in high levels? Very important, it supports the metabolic changes the mother is undergoing. Second, it supports the fetal growth, very important for the growth of the fetus. And third, it is very helpful to maintain pregnancy. Pregnancy should be maintained till the end. So, that's the reason why these hormones are present in high levels in the mother's bloodstream. So, once again the hormones are estrogen, progesterone, cortisols, prolactin, thyroxin, which are usually present in any female, but here it is in high amounts. Not only that, along with that, HCG and HPL, the source of HCG and HPL is the placenta, and relaxin is from the ovaries. So, these two are from the placenta and relaxin is secreted from the ovaries. These three hormones are only found when the lady is pregnant, and it is very necessary because it supports the metabolic changes occurring in the mother, then it supports the fetal growth, and lastly it maintains pregnancy to its full term. Now, as I told you, our gestation period is of 9 months, and by the end of 9th month a very important event takes place. In common terms, we say child labor or delivery. So, that term is parturition. Parturition. The process of delivery of the fully developed fetus is called parturition. In simple words, childbirth or delivery. And very, very important is what initiates this. Signals for parturition originates from the fetus and placenta, which induces mild uterine contractions, and this is called fetal ejection reflex. Remember, very important board question. What is fetal ejection reflex? That is the first signal. The fully formed fetus and the placenta gives the first signal. What is the signal? Is they initiates or induce a mild contraction of the uterus. Mild, not a wild, light contraction. This reflex is known as fetal ejection reflex. Now, what happens when this mild contraction occurs? This in turn triggers the pituitary gland of the mother, which we know the pituitary gland is divided into anterior and posterior pituitary, and we know the posterior pituitary produces ADH and oxytocin. So, here the contraction in turn triggers the mother's pituitary gland, the posterior pituitary, to secrete the hormone oxytocin. So, with the help of a diagram, I will just show you this. So, I told you the fully formed fetus and the placenta, both of them are essential. Both the fetus and the placenta, when it is fully developed, it gives the first signal. What is the first signal? Mild contraction of the myometrium. This contraction, very mild contraction. Now, what happens when this is mild contraction? This triggers the posterior pituitary gland, which is located in the head region, to release which hormone? To release oxytocin. Now, what is the role of the oxytocin? The oxytocin acts on the myometrium and causes further contraction. Now, what happens when the uterine muscle contracts? This will further trigger the posterior pituitary. Then posterior pituitary again secrete oxytocin. Then when oxytocin is released, what a myometrium contracts. Then this goes on and on, cycles and cycles of episodes, and therefore this is called labor pain. This is how what we experience as labor, continuous pain, and with time the pain becomes very fast. Initially it takes there's a lag between one contraction with the other contraction, but as this happens, cyclic process happens, the labor starts. Labor means contraction becomes wild and vigorous contraction to expel the baby. Now, another very important hormone is necessary for the baby to come out, that is, as I mentioned, relaxin. Relaxin is released from the ovaries, and the role of the relaxin, as the name suggests, is to relax the thigh muscle or to relax the pubic symphysis. We have learnt in 11th standard what is pubic symphysis. It is a cartilage which joins the two pelvic bones. So, there it slightly relaxes so that the birth canal widens or the vagina dilates. When it dilates, the baby is pushed out. So, once again, along with oxytocin. So, oxytocin is responsible for pushing the baby with the help by creating wild and vigorous contraction of the myometrium. So, I told you the mild contraction triggers the posterior pituitary to release the oxytocin. The oxytocin acts on the uterine myometrium, causing contraction. This further triggers the pituitary to release more oxytocins. Again, oxytocin brings about contraction. This goes on and on and on and on. And finally, this contraction pushes the baby, and as I told you, there's another hormone which is called the relaxin, which relaxes the pubic symphysis. See, this is the pubic symphysis. It relaxes so that the birth canal widens and the baby is pushed. And finally, we have parturition complete. We have the baby. So, the baby moves out of the birth canal, and we know what is the birth canal. Cervix plus the vagina forms the birth canal, widens or dilates, and the baby comes out with the head out. Okay. Now, immediately there is another role of the oxytocin. Immediately after childbirth, lactation occurs. That is, from the mother's mammary glands, milk is ejected. That is also the responsibility of oxytocin. Oxytocin is responsible for ejecting milk from the mammary glands, and therefore it is called milk ejection hormone. And very important thing you must remember is this milk produced in the initial days are very important, and that milk is called colostrum. This colostrum is yellow in color. It is rich in antibodies, and specifically saying which antibody? IgA, immunoglobulin A, which is very necessary to protect or defend the body from diseases. I hope you understood this session of reproduction. Thank you.